Hi, my name is Rasmus and I'm making a 3D top-down action adventure game. It has been a long time since the last update, but there has been a lot going on recently and I'm happy to be back with another devlog. Now, back in the fall, like many other indie game developers, we got caught up in the whole Unity runtime fee affair. And like everyone else, we started exploring our options and actually started rebuilding the game in Godot. Now, I really like working in Godot. The editor is brilliant, and since we decided to take the full step and go with GDScript, we got to experience the joy of a very steep learning curve. After a lot of analysis, however, we decided to stay with Unity for now. I did have fun in Godot and will definitely try it out again for a game jam soon. In terms of game development, things are also moving again. But before we got back to work, we did take some time to figure out the next steps for the game. And after quite a bit of time back in more of a pre-production stage, we now have a much more detailed and solid roadmap for the project. I think it's fair to say that the old "build it and they will come" mantra is no longer true for indie games. In 2023 alone, more than 14,000 games were released on Steam, and with new AI tools popping up every other day, that number is only going to increase. Therefore, indie game developers like us need more than ever to think about marketing even before the game is built. And one of the most important marketing tools that any indie game project can create is a demo. So we started by defining that our demo will be 15 to 30 minutes of highly polished gameplay. It should demonstrate the core gameplay loop and tease at full game features. The demo is to be released publicly on Steam, and the goal of the demo is to collect player feedback and to help build a community. The work on the demo will be divided into 3 overall steps. First, we're going to be creating a playable alpha version with a full set of MVP features. The keyword here is full, since the version should have all the features that we want in the demo. Also, the build must be stable enough that we can invite some testers to actually play it. But it also must be quick and easy to iterate over. Next is the playtest and tweaking of the alpha version. Now, this is where we decide what works and what doesn't, and also the gameplay loop until it is just as fun and engaging as we want it to be. We will do some playtesting ourselves, but we'll need some external eyes on it as well. Finally, and this is the exciting part, we will be replacing the MVP features with actual and polished features. Now, the keyword here is of course polish. The demo should feel and play exactly like the full release, only with less and slightly more compressed content. Now, this will take a lot of effort, but it is also where things will really start to fall into place. There is a lot of work to be done before that though, and the first thing we got to work on was some level design. Level design is hard, like really hard. None of us here really finds it fun or within our comfort zone at all, but since Mads was busy with some shader work, I decided to just try and start somewhere. So I opened up Blender and started to build a level. But I quickly found that I spent most of the time aligning vertices and flipping normals and all of that, because I just didn't know what I was actually trying to achieve. It was easy to build places where the player could go, but looking back at it now, I never really thought too much about why the player might go there. And it turned out that would be the key. But there were other problems as well. Questions like how large should the map be, how many forks in the road should the player encounter, were questions I didn't really have any answers to. So I found a streamer on YouTube who played Death's Door, a game somewhat similar in gameplay to what we're trying to go for, and with a pen and paper I sketched out the map as he played the Lost Cemetery level. I didn't film it, but this is the actual drawing. So I cleaned it up into this and found that the ease of drawing with a pencil in 2D was what had been missing. So basically I just continued to draw my own level of the same size. I decided to go for a square-based level so it would be easy to iterate over. So over a few days, with many alterations, it got me 3 complete zones and a complete outline for the demo playthrough. Back in Blender, I then simply extruded a plane on the X and Y axis to match my drawing and added some verticality to it as well. After running around on the plane in Unity, I did some more revisions on the level before eventually adding some rock-like walls to the entire thing, mostly to keep the player from falling off the face of the level. And that's how the 3 zones of Rustwood Lake, the Rustwood Power Plant and the Frostbite Peaks were added to the game. More importantly though, the sketch also included areas for the boss fights, the arenas, the save load points and the power-ups. Basically, it was not only a map, it was a feature list. So back in GitHub, I added all the needed features to the project board one by one. And now we're ready to get to work. Now, I know this episode was a bit different and that the short pieces of gameplay footage might make it look like we're taking a step back in development, but nothing could be further from the truth, although we are still very much in the first step of the demo work. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. Please share any feedback you might have in the comments, especially if, like me, you have struggled with level design. I would love to hear how you managed to eventually figure it out. If you would like to get notified when the next episode is out, please click the subscribe button below, and while you're down there, a like is always appreciated as it helps the algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.